do you get fired on your day off?
That's what I said. You gotta suck.
Dang.
My production team. You really gotta suck if you're fired on a Saturday, you guys. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tea. Guess what? It's Santa's favorite elf. He's right here. My name is Blake Woodruff. We're so excited. We have an action-packed The Tea show for you guys today. And of course, on my left and on my right are also two of my favorite elves. We've got Miss Ashley Dior Jones on my left.
I know that's right. I was like, I'm an elf too. I'm Santa's helper also.
You are. I'm just the favorite elf. That's the only thing about her.
Fine, Blake. I'll give that to you.
Who's the naughty elf?
Oh, I was about to ask who's on the naughty list and who's on the...
I'm always on the good list.
The favorites
always
are
on the
always
nice
naughty
list.
though, right? I think so. Kiki Palmer says it in that new commercial.
She
She's
does.
like, you know,
I disagree.
Yep. Okay. Good. What a hot take there, Miss Ashley Dior Jones. All right, Miss Brie Thiele to my right. Tell us about it. Are you feeling naughty or nice this year?
What's up? I'm feeling nice.
Yeah.
I'm feeling nice. Oh, you gotta be nice. You gotta be nice for Santa.
I think so. I mean, Santa always gives you just a little bit of time. You have those 30 days to really get yourself back in order.
Whip
to get
yourself
nice
into
so
shape.
Only you, Blake.
So you can get some extra Christmas presents, right?
Straight
Yes.
up.
Are
Straight
you
up.
guys excited? I'm
so excited.
We were talking earlier now. Brie, I don't know. Have you done any of the Christmas activities yet in LA? Because there are a ton in Los Angeles.
I have not.
You have
I
not.
just went and got a Christmas tree.
Okay, good for you. Good.
Spent an arm and a leg on a dang Christmas tree. I mean, those supply chain issues, I swear.
Is it real? Is it real?
It is real.
Yes,
and it's
that's the way
snow
to
covered.
go.
It's with
Oh, it's
flocking.
flocked.
Yeah, it's flocked.
Flocked.
And it's
I love it.
huge. It's
Beautiful.
huge. So it's really pretty.
That warms my heart.
favorites.
That makes me so
But
happy.
my boyfriend's like, we will only do traditional lighting, only white lights, and only like red and white ornaments.
Ooh,
So I threw in some
chic.
pink in there. I threw in some pink in there. I know he's kind
Lots
of.
of word tradition I'm hearing. Christmas, tradition, boyfriend. I guess you better be nice if Santa's bringing a...
You know it.
Is
You
this
know
the right
it.
hand? Which one's the right one? This one?
I don't know.
I know which one.
Oh, yeah, single lady. Oh, I'm a single lady. Oh, I'm a single lady. Put your hands up.
I know the one.
Ashley's ready. She says, I know
She
what I want
is.
for Christmas, Santa.
Is.
Man, oh man, don't get me started.
It's so funny. Ashley, you and I actually, though, we both did the Los Angeles Arboretum.
Arbitorium.
Oh my gosh, it's
I'm just
Arboretum,
kidding.
Arboretum. We listened to Google pronounce it about 35 times this morning. But in Arcadia, which is beautiful. It's like an art exhibit with a beautiful Christmas lights. Tell us, how was your experience like?
I had a ball. Like, there were a lot of people, though, so at least it was outside, so that made me really happy. But the art installations were just gorgeous.
So
like, it was so
beautiful.
nice to walk through the crisp botanical gardens and see all the beautiful lights and hear the music. It really got me in the Christmas spirit. So I love stuff like that.
Wait, but your boyfriend said it wasn't very Christmassy.
Yeah, so it was more of like an art installation, right?
Okay.
So it wasn't all like green, red, and white, which I expected.
Oh,
it was
gotcha.
it was very much like a rainbow vibe. It was interesting.
It was beautiful, though. And
Yeah,
they
it was
even had
lovely.
this part where you're on the field, the grass field at the end, remember?
Yeah.
The grassy knoll is probably what it's called.
It was
but the
beautiful.
lights were laid out across, and it looked like a flowing river.
It did.
With
Oh,
multicolor
it did.
lights.
Very cool.
Yeah,
And it was
lovely.
moving. Like,
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
moving.
Rad.
Really
It
cool
was cool.
installations. And now, you know, in my house back in the South, we don't say Merry Christmas. We say Happy Toyota-thon.
Oh, stop it.
Let me tell you where I went, you guys.
Seriously?
Everyone at home, come to LA this year because you have got to go to Irwindale to the NASCAR Speedway, which they've turned into a drive-through Christmas experience
oh,
this year.
fun.
So
sounds
much
so
fun.
fun.
And it's all, they've got like mobile homes set up, RVs all decorated,
Cool.
like campsites, like you drive through. Very traditional redneck Christmas, and I'm here for it.
Love
I was
it.
here for
Love
it.
it.
I want to
I
hear
love
about
that.
it. Well, and you know what's
And what do you sip on a little something something in the car?
Of
That's kind
course.
of
I
fun,
mean,
right?
a little
Oh.
Jesus juice. Jesus juice, right, Ashley?
Plague.
She can't go against her moral grounds, you guys. She's so close to Christmas. She's got to keep being nice.
I gotta be nice. But I'm glad you had a really good time. Like that sounds incredible. I've never done that or heard of it, mind you. So maybe it's something we can try out next year.
You can tell inside of game, like grabbing the microphone. I'm like, I loved it. I want to go back and hang out with my peeps. Well, speaking of some rednecks, they may be northern rednecks, but the Cuomo brothers.
Oh.
Let's talk about that, Miss Brie. Big headlines dropping this weekend, last
There
week.
they are.
Tell
oh
us
man,
about them.
2 guys on the naughty list.
They are
Straight
on the
Definitely
naughty.
on
Look
the
at 'em.
naughty
They
list.
are
That screams naughty right there.
Trouble,
Oh,
trouble,
I
trouble.
see you.
Okay, so we've got disgraced New York Governor Andrew Cuomo on the left. Now we have disgraced CNN anchor Chris Cuomo on the right. Former. disgrace.
Don't forget
Both.
that.
Excuse
Former.
me. I thought disgrace meant kind of former. But yeah, they are both, kicked to the curb. CNN has fired Chris Cuomo on the right. And you guys, the fallout is swift. It is fierce. Now, in case you've been in another country, living under a rock, let me fill you in on what is going on. So Chris Cuomo, who had the highest rated show on the network in the #1 time slot, the 9 p.m. time slot, has been booted, as Ash reminded us, fired on a Saturday.
How do you get fired on your day off?
That's what I said. You gotta suck.
Dang.
Our production team. You really gotta suck if you're fired on a
your day
Saturday,
off.
you guys. I mean,
It's like my favorite Friday night.
It's like unheard of.
So funny.
but I will say, at least you get a long weekend, though.
Oh,
yeah.
never ending
Okay.
weekend.
Right.
Never ending
Never
weekend.
ending, right?
I know you're supposed to fire people on Friday. He got fired on
Absolutely.
Saturday. He's been canned from the network for digging up stories, reaching out to sources regarding his brother. And, CNN is preparing themselves for a big legal battle. Chris wants the rest of his contract paid out, apparently. He's signed a 4-year contract. He makes about $6 million a year. CNN says he is not getting a penny. He is not getting a penny, no severance, no nothing. Apparently, a lot of these big anchors, they sign a morality clause, right? And CNN President Jeff Zucker goes, he deserved to be terminated. He violated that morality clause. So his Sirius XM show has been canceled. HarperCollins does not want to release his book. I thought this was interesting. Don Lemon, his brother, his brother on the network, has been pretty quiet, has stayed pretty radio silent surrounding Cuomo, and it's just like, oh man, this is looking bad, guys. It's looking really bad. So I know you wanted specifics.
Yeah, give us some facts,
Blake. So basically, Attorney General Letitia James showed that Chris Cuomo used his press connections to help his brother's staff pry into the past of a woman who accused him of inappropriately touching her. So this is the sexual misconduct allegation.
And this is for Chris, right?
This is for, you know what? This is for Andrew.
Okay,
because
just
he
making
used
sure.
his press.
Okay.
Both of them
Yes.
have these sexual misconduct allegations. So the brother's staff, he uses press connections to help Andrew Cuomo's staff pry into the past of a woman who accused him of inappropriately touching her. And then he also participated in strategy sessions aimed at helping the governor, beat the sexual harassment scandal that eventually forced him to resign. So apparently he was a big part in the defense of it all. Now, here's what's interesting, because CNN's president, Jeff Zucker, has been a huge proponent of Chris Cuomo. He hired Chris Cuomo back in 2013. He was one of his big hires. And then in 2018, he promoted Chris to the primetime slot. Chris claims that Jeff Zucker has known all along where he stands on this issue. He knows that he cannot be objective, that he puts his family first. And Zucker goes, absolutely not the case. You deserve to be terminated. So yeah, we've got some major fallout here.
Guys, if you were in this situation,
what do you think?
right? If you were a journalist like we are, right? And your brother, got in trouble with some, whatever the issue is, would you guys use like your connections to help your family member out? I mean, that's the question I have. Because he's in a pickle. No, it's like, you can maybe help your brother out, but do you?
I think it's a little slimy that he was so loud on his show about taking a back seat on this story, about not covering it. He couldn't be objective. It was his brother. And then you find out behind the scenes, he's digging up some dirt.
Yeah, that's
Which is interesting, because what the former governor, Andrew Cuomo, did was wrong.
I guess.
Yes.
Well, okay, if we look at the journalism code of ethics here, right, you need to stay objective.
Okay.
Not possible. You need to be honest. You need to have integrity, independence, accuracy, contextual truth, which was definitely missing, transparency, respect, and fairness. I think he violated a lot of those.
Yeah. Honesty, gone. Integrity, gone. Independence, well, he's independent now because he doesn't have a job. Respect and fairness, definitely didn't hit those. Transparent, he wasn't transparent,
But would you guys stay completely out of it? I mean, if you were in the situation, would you completely remove yourself
Oh,
Like,
no, I
truly.
would do what I said. I would be trying to find a way to help my brother in another way, such as getting him treatment, finding something. Let's figure out why you thought this was appropriate, and then take a look at yourself, because now the same misconduct is coming up about him.
Yeah.
So maybe they need to go on a brother retreat. I mean, I don't know, but my help wouldn't be trying to figure out the source's contact information to try to dig up dirt on them because they went after your brother for what he did was wrong,
Right. Well, and then a lot of it, we were kind of trying to piece it together. We thought originally it was him reaching out to sources to get ahead of the story, right?
Right,
To
right.
say,
That's
what are
that's
you
what I thought it was.
talking about tonight? What are you coming on the network with and unveiling? And would that be a conflict of interest?
I don't think is a conflict of interest, because as journalists, you always want to be the first one to break the news,
Exactly.
break the story. That aspect, I'm fine with. I think that's part of journalism, being an
yeah.
on-camera personality. But if you're digging up contact information on sources and trying to hit the nail before it gets hammered, I have a problem with that, because that should be private information. You're not a part of this, lawsuit, these allegations. Remove yourself that way. But figuring out if you can break the story first or what's going to happen so you can prepare someone, that happens with publicists all the time.
Yeah.
They get a phone call, inquires like, hey, we've got this story. Let your client know it's coming out. You start doing damage control.
So how do we know that wasn't the case, I guess is my question.
I guess we don't. I guess we'll find out. But obviously CNN found out something.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't know yet.
Yeah, hopefully we will. They've stayed pretty mum, though.
Yeah.
And apparently they hired an independent law firm to conduct this investigation.
Right. Yeah. So I think a lot of it will unfold. I'm curious, moving away from that little bummer of a weekend, to someone else that was rolling in the deep, might we say.
Oh,
right?
yes.
You can roll in the deep in a different way, or you can just roll in general, right, Brie? Tell us about Mr. Rogan. What was he rolling up? What was he rolling up?
Oh, he was certainly rolling something up, guys. He's made it very well known that he loves the ganja, the reefer, the Mary Jane.
Wait,
he
I
is
was like, who's ganja?
You know what? You don't know that?
It's the gateway
The
drug.
ganja.
I'm from Georgia.
Right,
we don't
right.
do that.
It's
We
naughty.
just tip cows.
Also known as cannabis. He is a stoner. I would call him a stoner. And he gave a really funny interview, you guys, with Jimmy Fallon about how he
So
went
good.
to the Adele One Night Only concert, which we
Right,
talked about.
yes.
here on the T. And you couldn't help but notice him in a lot of those shots. He was front and center. He was kind of goofy. He had his little champagne glass in his hand, just like clapping.
What's going
And
on?
he says that, him and his wife originally got invited to an intimate Adele concert in a park. And they just said them being stoners thought it'd be really fun to light it up. They smoked a ton of weed before that thing. They just thought it was going to be an intimate concert. They end up rolling up, and they've got, there's cranes everywhere. There's cameras. There's drones. He says the first person they see is Oprah Winfrey. And he goes,
And then he
oh
freaked
God,
out.
I'm a little distracted. He was freaking out. He was front and center. I think we've got a
I want to
clip.
hear him say, I know,
And
let's hear it in Seth's words, because it's got to be hysterical.
Rogan rolling in the deep, is that why he's so close? Like, I feel out of place. And so I try to it looked like I very actively tried to look like I'm enjoying this Adele concert, which I was, but I was very distracted by the fact that I was on camera. So I was playing the role of just an undistracted, normal, cool guy trying to enjoy an Adele concert.
Well, weirdly enough, I put together a quick little montage of you enjoying the Adele concert.
Oh no,
Let's take a look at Seth Rogen.
He's like, where am I? Oh, yeah, this is
There was a lot. He's like, yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's like this, you guys.
Hilarious.
Yep. Where am I? Where's
Why
Adele?
am I
Who is Adele?
here?
What is going on?
Exactly.
Is that Kris Jenner? Is that Ellen? Is that Drake? Who are these people?
Everyone behind him just piercing into him.
I love that dude. I found that clip hysterical. Look at him just sitting
So funny. It's like, how did he get those seats, though?
So
That's a
goofy.
really good question,
Well, and
Seth.
you-
How did you get those seats?
And he's done these interviews because what he said in another interview, he's like, okay, here I am sitting in like row A1. And
Yes.
he's like, why is Leo DiCaprio back in row R? He's like, shouldn't he be up here? And I was like, it's so funny.
It's so interesting, though, because I remember reading or watching the concert and Adele saying that, everyone, she wanted to be intimate and with everyone that she knew. And Seth was like, I have never met Adele. I don't know who she is. So I was like, what is this about? What's happening? kidding. He must have a really incredible publicist who got him those seats because it was wild to see him up so close and in so many shots, right?
And didn't you say paranoia is a side effect? I believe you said that earlier.
Most certainly.
From our resident
especially,
ganja expert.
Cannabis expert. Cannabis. There you go.
She puts the B in CBD, doesn't she?
I
came up with that one
That's
right there.
That's right.
I can't reach anymore.
No,
old.
you guys, if you smoke a lot of weed, and I mean, they're in LA, it's probably some really strong stuff. I mean, yeah, you're in your head. You're paranoid. You're like, what am I doing here? And he was saying, like, okay, do we stand up and clap after every single song? It was a lot of standing up, and
What did he do?
just looked so
I
confused.
want to know when the engaged couple came out and the lights went dark. I can't even imagine what Seth was doing at that point. He's like, he's probably like, did I need to prepare a speech? Like, and drones are flying? I mean, I'm just like, I bet he was freaked out, Brie.
Had to have been.
That is crazy.
Yeah, he just, thought it'd be like a stoner's delight. Little concert in the park. Little intimate concert in the park. Not so
Now, do you remember
much.
after that? Like, would he remember the concert? Is that a side effect of weed? Is it like drinking where you black out or no?
It'd be hazy. I like to
Hazy.
call it hazy. It'd be a little hazy for sure,
Okay.
which is a bummer because you're like, oh man, like I
Adele.
missed out
It's
on
Adele.
so much
Great
of that.
show.
Yeah,
Totally.
on a great
So
show. But
interesting.
Well, at least we have
And I
that
mean-
one night only
Right.
to
And
continue watching.
Can we talk about still how incredible Adele looked? Like,
Oh,
I mean, she
beautiful.
looked stunning. I mean, just snatched, hair was up. We loved those Saturn earrings. I mean, she brought it.
Very
She
cool.
brought it.
Well, and
Very
it's
cool.
interesting you bring up, Ashley, how good she looked because we know a big part of that story, and especially the interview with Oprah, was the weight loss and just how she was getting so much hate, so much people were coming after her because they were like, you don't represent the plus size community anymore. Well, also what dropped today, another former, plus size, if you want to say, actress Rebel Wilson, who also went through a year of change.
yes.
She's getting a lot of heat, and look at her.
wow.
Okay,
She
first off,
looks
beautiful in both.
Incredible.
Yes.
Both ways.
yes.
Absolutely.
And
I
she looks
agree.
happy. And that's what's so interesting. And I pulled a quote for this, you guys. So what happened is basically Rebel Wilson just announced that her team in Hollywood was so against her year of change. They were like, why do you want to lose millions of dollars and get skinny? And she's like, why not? She's like, I'm gaining weight because I have an emotional eating disorder.
Right.
And they're like, oh, you're going to lose all your money. And a quote that Rebel actually said, she said, I got a lot of pushback from my own team, actually, here in Hollywood. And she said, okay, I'm going to do this year of health. I feel like I'm really going to physically transform and change my life. And they're like, wait, why? You're the funny fat girl. You've always been that person. And she said, I was still very confident being bigger and, loved myself. I could rock a red carpet, probably double the size and sometimes triple the weight of other actresses, but still felt confident. And that's what I love. She just said she had an emotional eating disorder. And that's
You guys, speaking of another family that is always criticized about their weight, right? Let's head to the Kardashian corner of the tea. How
the
exciting is
Kardashian
this?
corner.
The Kardashian corner. We always talk about them, so we're like, why not add this little tidbit into the show, into the tea, so you know exactly what you're going to get for the next
Corner
few
with a K.
minutes.
Corner
with
with
a
a
K.
K.
Oh, you know it.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
it. Corner with a K.
100%.
So the latest Kardashian that has, taken the internet by storm is Miss Kylie. Kylie and Travis. I still don't understand why she didn't get the Kravitz.
Did you say by
Like,
storm?
why did yes, by
Is it-
storm.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Look at you
I'm
learning.
built for
Look
this.
at me rubbing
I'm
off.
built for
little
this.
Bit. Yes, you
She's taught
are.
me so
Snatched
well.
since birth.
Snatched
built
since
for
birth.
puns.
I mean,
You
I am
amaze
just
me.
life is just getting better and better by the minute. So like this is the tea. If you guys didn't know what was happening, so Kylie and Travis had a cover of W magazine that was supposed to show their beautiful family. As we all know, Kylie is pregnant with Travis. This will be their second baby, and so it was a beautiful layout of just them and this happy family. And as we know, with the Astro World tragedy that happened a couple weeks ago, W snatched the cover. I think there were even some issues that were already out to print, and that hit some residents' home. So the cover did leak out. If you want to see it, you can find it on your own. But it was a lovely cover, but scrapped because of the Astro World tragedy. But another thing that was really interesting about this interview is that the journalist said that Kylie and Travis were in a non-traditional relationship, meaning that they weren't exclusive, that they were co-parenting. Khloe Kardashian actually came out and said, I don't know where this comes from. Like, Kylie and Travis are absolutely in a real relationship, and it's just so odd that the journalist said that. There weren't even any quotes from Travis and Kylie in the article about being in a non-traditional relationship. But I think non-traditional relationships are kind of the norm for the Kardashian crew, right? I mean, it looks like not Kourtney is just now getting engaged, right? And it's not to Scott. It's not to the father of her children. You know, Kim is getting divorced. This is going to be her third one. So, I mean, the Kardashians don't really have a traditional family like we know it. Is the non-traditional family the new go-to for the young and fun? And, you know, what are you guys' thoughts about this? Are you for, like, the non-traditional co-parenting? We just want to make our kids the best that they can be? Or are you about that nuclear family? You know, make sure you have 2 parents in the home. What do you guys think about this?
No, because it affects the kids. You know, I think if they can do this non-traditional layout and they can co-parent, that's great, because the kids are going to grow up one day and they're not going to be innocent anymore, and life's going to hit them and realize, why did my parents put me through that? So I love the fact that if everyone can co-parent and it's healthy, do that so it doesn't affect the kids. People don't, you know, worry about the children. They always say in a divorce, it's about the kids, but it's really the selfish parents. So what's great is if people, I applaud them, and I think that's great if you can do that healthily.
Yeah, Brie, what do you think? Do you think that W Magazine was right to pull the cover as to, you know, from what happened with Astroworld? Was that the right move, or did they take it too far?
I think that was the right move. Yeah, why kind of glorify this tragic event that took so many innocent people's lives? And of course, you know, Travis Scott was not, you know, to blame for these deaths, but Astroworld was just a huge tragedy. So what is non-traditional about them? Just the fact that they're unmarried with children?
Correct. The fact that they're unmarried with children, and the fact that the journalist said that they weren't together. Like, they were just having a baby to have a baby,
So
but
it's like
not to
baby
be like a
making.
family.
I've never thought they were together. I've honestly never thought they were together.
I didn't either.
That's the other thing.
That's the thing. I didn't think they were together either. But Chloe's saying that they absolutely are, and this is after.
Well, who's
you know,
Chloe
everything.
with? I mean, my God.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's just
gosh.
Chloe.
Chloe, we love you, girl. And
I
we
do.
are
Chloe
so
is my favorite.
Sorry.
Chloe is the Kardashian.
Chloe
Kardashian.
is a man. She is a ride or dyer, but why at this point with Tristan? He is expecting allegedly baby number 3. Have you guys heard about this? Another one.
And
so
she's
apparently,
embarrassed. Yeah.
I would be too. So
100%.
apparently, the woman in question got together with Tristan on his 30th birthday. And if you guys remember, Tristan and Chloe were together at that time. So her having to go through this again is just heart-wrenching. Right? It's like, why can't this guy do better? Why can't he keep it in his pants, or at least like have these girls sign NDA, something? Wear a condom. Like, I just can't believe that he's still like, you know, I can't believe we're still talking about these issues with Tristan. What do you guys think about this? Like, does he need to go to like sexual therapy? Like, what do you think this issue is? Why does he keep messing up and so bad?
Well, and especially when they keep taking so many breaks. Like, can't you get it out of your system while you're breaking?
Ugh,
I mean,
so
and then
sad.
you do have Khloe Kardashian at your beck and call to be she wants to be, and I'm like, why don't you want that? Like, what? I mean, that, you know, that's where I get confused. And you're on all these breaks, but then you cheat when you get back together. That's the point that always confuses me about the whole cheating thing.
It's
so
sad. It's not love. It sounds like the sex kind of gets boring. I hate to say it. It gets kind of old. It's like a been there, done that type thing. But I think what's so disgusting about this whole story is how Tristan is treating this alleged baby mama, right?
It's messy.
Asking her to get an abortion, offering her $70,000 to $75,000 to basically stay out of his life. He's like, I don't want to be a part of this baby's life. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm retiring next year. You're going to get basically
retire. Exactly.
He's claiming that, you know, she's just in it for the fame and the money, and it's just slimy to me.
So
slimy.
messy. It's so messy. I really wish that he would do better. I thought after the first time he would, you know, change his way, and he hasn't. And I thought after the second time, maybe no, he's just like, let him be True's father and definitely have that relationship.
Right.
But I say, you know, stay as far away from this man.
I also think,
As
though,
he
it speaks. I
can.
think, though,
Totally.
to Chloe, though, there's also, you know, we talked about it a lot with Britney Spears and all. There's something missing too with Chloe, because why does she keep going back to these men that keep taking advantage of her? I mean, look what happened with Lamar. She was there on his deathbed. That she even halted the divorce. Do you guys remember? She halted signing the divorce papers when he was off at the Bunny Ranch and almost died. Yeah. And so it's interesting to me that then she picks Tristan, who is also a serial cheater, and keeps the back and forth going. And I wish we could get Khloe to have that self-respect for herself.
Well, I don't even think it's a self-respect thing. Like, I think she just has like a heart of gold, and I really think that she just thinks that, you know, these people can do better and believes that they can, and, you know, trusts, you know.
But that comes with respect. You got to respect yourself, meaning like give yourself respect. Not that she's not confident and doesn't love herself. I want her to give herself the same respect she gives all of these men, and saying, you know what, I'm too good for this. You know what? Let me help you from afar, which I think is kind of what she's done with Lamar now. You don't really see much of them
we haven't
anymore.
heard from him in a while.
But Tristan, I'm like, Khloe, baby, he's not coming back. Like, this boy keeps it. This baby number 3, we got abortion talk, 75,000.
Unemployed. We'll be unemployed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Soon. He is not the one.
Yeah, and why
babe.
would
He
you
is
want
not
it
the
back?
one.
Yeah,
Just because you
absolutely.
made millions, you still unemployed. Okay.
I know. It's so wild.
I think we can all agree, though. I think the Kardashians have self-esteem issues, right? A lot of people say that. I
That
mean,
is a
they've
hot
gotten
take.
massive amount of plastic surgery work done. They're a commodity. They are selling storylines. Their lives are a narrative. I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's maybe a lonely life, you know?
And I think and that's the issue. Going back to Astro World, is that they're always, if you're connected to a Kardashian, you're going to be connected to the Kardashian bubble, which means they can't. You know, you see all these videos of everyone yelling at Kylie. You know, what did she really do? You know, she didn't really
Guilty by association.
But it's like they are always going to, if they post anything or do anything in the moment of tragedy, they're always going to be considered to be glorifying that anyways. Yeah. It's part of it. That's what they made their money on. That's what their fame came from, is glorifying themselves.
I think that's the thing. It's like when you open that door, you open that door. Like the floodgates are it's just anything and everything that you touch has to be like.
And you can't close the door. Look what it's done to Kanye. I mean, Kanye at that point was already still a little unstable and getting that point, but then you put Kim in the mix and the Kardashian bubble again. It's like that. It's not the people. It's like just the word Kardashian affects everything.
Back to your point about their self-esteem issues, I remember watching the reunion and how Kim was saying, "Oh, but we work out. We work out." Like, honey, like we know that that's not just working out. Like we see you guys like doing your thing, but I mean, let the truth come out.
I'm glad you brought that up because I want to know this. So then, why is it okay? You know, why can someone like Cardi B admit all her plastic surgeries and be confident in it and love it? That's what it's here for. But then Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney can't admit it.
Exactly. Why can Cardi admit it and they can't? I think that's the issue.
And I think that's what people have a problem with. They're like, just say it.
Just be truthful.
Yeah, don't go on camera and do an x-ray. Fat is not going to show up in an x-ray. You can get a Brazilian butt transfer. That is surgery. That's not natural. And it's okay to do that.
Right.
But don't put all these schemes up and act like you haven't gotten surgery when you have.
Exactly. And even with Kim, like saying with her sex tape, let's not forget where this all started.
Right.
Kim came out. She was like, yes, I did it. She didn't hide it. She was like, she took it. Right? Why not the same with the plastic surgery? It's very interesting.
There must be a certain level of shame in there. Are they ashamed of changing their looks, of cashing in, so to say, of selling out a little bit?
And not of a sex tape? I mean, that's
wild. I've got to ask
me.
because you keep saying sex tape and it's bothering me. Has anybody ever watched the sex tape?
I have never watched the sex tape.
Did you watch it?
With Ray J? Was
it
with Ray J?
No, it was
Ray J.
Ray J.
Ray J.
Okay,
not
but
Reggie.
What about? Did you ever watch Paris's?
No.
I saw like screen grabs, but I never watched it.
This is a sidebar. Do you want
You
to
have, of course you have.
I've got to tell you the best sex tape in the world to watch real quick.
Okay,
and then
okay.
we'll hop
Which one?
back. Just in case over the holidays, you guys, the turkey's got you feeling down and a little tired. You need to rev it up. Does everybody remember Chelsea Handler?
Yes.
And you remember Chewy, her sidekick. The best sex tape in the world is Chewy's sex tape. It is the best thing you'll ever watch. Please, everybody watch.
Explain.
Oh my
Explain.
God. Do you watch it as a group after the tea?
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess we have to.
Over
at this
lunch?
point.
Over lunch?
We
Yeah.
have
And
to
we'll
at this
fill
point.
all of you lovely people in next week about our... It's the best sex tape you'll ever watch.
I didn't know Chewy had a sex tape.
Oh,
Blake.
he's got a sex tape. It's good. It's good.
That is
Oh God.
awesome.
Okay.
that is
I'm
awesome.
afraid. but-
Every time you said sex tape, all I can think is Chewy in that sex tape.
What?
And what's interesting, you guys know, because Chewy has passed. Remember, Chewy, there was a couple years ago. Remember?
right.
But what was so interesting, when I first moved to LA, he had that little car and he still drove it. the car from the show that she had gotten him, and you'd see him around. But every time I looked at him, I was like, I think about the sex tape.
Of course. You can't go back. You can't go back from that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it does, Ashley, your points are so valid, and I'm glad, because it is true. Why is it that someone who's so strong and confident like Cardi B, and yet you have the Kardashians who exude the same confidence, but they can't admit it?
Right.
Do you think people would still love the Kardashians if they did admit they had the surgeries, Ashley?
Yes, I do.
Brie, do you think?
I think they would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they're getting that advice from somewhere.
I think
right?
they think that they wouldn't be as low. I think they think everything is an illusion with them, and I think they don't realize that we've all grown as a culture, and that everybody'd kind of be like, "Good for you."
Yeah, nobody's perfect. Like if we've learned anything,
exactly.
I 100% agree with you, Blake. Like if they would just come clean and just be like, "Yes, we've had the surgery, we've done this, we've done that," I don't think their star would stop rising. I really don't.
Yeah,
I think they would even. It would get bigger and reach a completely new audience that kind of dismissed them before. I think honesty and truth brings so much to a celebrity. It makes you seem like real, but maybe they don't want to
authentic.
Yeah, but maybe they don't want to seem
because
authentic.
those like before and after slides
We've
of
all
like
seen
Kylie Jenner.
We've all seen it.
Oh, she's got to cringe. She looks so much like Bruce Jenner. Caitlyn, I'm sorry.
That's
Bruce. She looks like Bruce.
Yeah. And then, that's when you see it. And then even as Caitlyn, as Bruce became Caitlyn, you see a lot of that too, and you kind of see it all. It's just interesting. So there's a lot that's been done. And it's just a very interesting family and very non-traditional.
Very non-traditional.
Completely. I mean, they've changed the way America looks at the nuclear family, though, right? We're talking about the nuclear family. So
they changed the game. You guys did it. Like, you did it.
Do you think this is it for Kourtney, though, before we move on? Do you think that Travis is the one? I mean, the Kardashians bounce a lot, but they really seem in love. It's a love I didn't see with her and Scott.
Yeah, I feel like they were friends before, and that's always a good thing. Like if you can be a friend to your partner first, I think that just enriches the relationship so much. So I'm excited for them. I think this is gonna work for Kourtney. I think, and she hasn't gotten married before. She hasn't gotten engaged before. So I think the fact that she's taking this step is a big move. So I think this is it for her.
Well, best wishes for them. I feel like before we go, we've spoken so much about Cardi B.
Yes.
You guys know I've been texting you how excited I am, but we know the biggest story that's dropped for Cardi, and are you guys fans of it? Because I'm about to drop that tea.
Let's hear it.
I know, I love it. So over the weekend, Cardi B, who we all adore here at the Tea, and the world adores as well, she finally made her announcement, you guys, that this is what her tweet said. This is, quote, "Your girl is now the first ever creative director in residence at Playboy. What a dream. I'm getting the party started as the founding creative director and a founding member of Centerfold, which is going to be the new creator-led digital platform from Playboy. So like an OnlyFans-esque. What are your thoughts? Ashley, are you here for it?
I think this makes so much sense. I think Cardi has always been so open about her sexuality and maybe even a little overt. So the fact that she is, linking up with Playboy, I think it makes perfect sense. And I didn't realize that Playboy had, because I never really actually read the magazine, to be perfectly honest. But I didn't know they had like these iconic like interviews with people like Miles Davis, Martin Luther King Jr., Steve Jobs. Like Playboy has like some real cred. So the fact that they are moving kind of to this celeb kind of sexy over, I just think it's a sign of the times. And I think it's really exciting for her. Like I think this is a great step for her brand, and to merge those two worlds, which you don't normally put together. I'm excited for her about it. I think it's going to be dope. And it's time for Playboy to really like step it up, because they used to run the game, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think it's time that they get involved with like OnlyFans, because there's a lot of money out there to be made for adults and adult content, and I think Cardi is all about that. All about that.
What do you think, Brie? Because I remember as a child growing up, I mean, the biggest thing was we all, we're innocent and everything, and when the whole sexual revolution happens for all of us, you start to recognize things. You'd go into the gas station. This was back in the day now, and you'd see like the little covers over the magazines. Remember, there'd be a section in a gas station with like pornos or whatever. Yeah. And now I feel like with OnlyFans and the way pornography is really mainstream in a sense. What do you think? Do you think Playboy is going to be able to adapt? Do you think this is a way to bring them back? Because they were very well known. Their literature pieces were great pieces. Playboy was fascinating. It wasn't just girls with GEDs. So I want to.
And they claim to be about female empowerment. Right? They empower women. Cardi B is obviously an empowered woman. We were talking about about all the things that she's gone through, from her stripper days to working at Red Lobster to now almost, being a founding member of Centerfold at Playboy. It's very cool. She's going to bring a different twist. But I think OnlyFans prompted America to go through a sexual revolution. I think we are viewing now sex as art, right? And almost porn stars as content creators, right? Which we have all lived in such a hypersexualized society since the dawn of time, right? Sex sells. I mean, we grew up with it. It's always been kind of taboo. I mean, OnlyFans and now Centerfold, they are changing all of that. And I think it's for the better of our children's, and the generations that come.
Because and you both being two females, and you can answer or not answer, it's something, this sexuality, the way Cardi B is so open and expressive with it, it should be something empowering, correct? Like, sexuality should be something that empowers you, right? Because the world always says, get rid of the magazines, get rid of the porn, but yet your body, even as a male, I know I'm proud of my body, whether I'm big, small, whatever, weight-wise, but I'm like, as a female, is that something freeing?
I think so. I mean, unfortunately, we have been labeled as sexual creatures, right? And it hasn't been our choice in that. I think Beyonce said a lot of this marketing and this hypersexualization of women came from men, right? Creating this perfect ideal of what a woman should be. That's not really real. And this is allowing women to take that power back. And that is empowering, I think. But yeah, I mean, is sex being everywhere? I mean, great for our future. We shall see. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, you guys know me. I am all about female empowerment, and I want women to really take control of their lives and their bodies. And it's like, if this is what you think you should do, and it makes you happy, and you don't feel a way about it, then don't. But I just worry that the sex just comes, it's all about the sex, right? I think that can be sometimes suffocating, right? So after, like, what do you do after that, to each his own, 100%. But I mean, it's just, I don't know, where do we go from here, right? If this is the level, like, how do we, like, what's after this?
Do we turn into Spain or France, where it's just like topless beaches all the time?
Maybe.
Like, but is America ready to accept that?
Absolutely not.
That's the thing. It's really just America.
We're the only ones.
The rest that you and I have talked about this before on something else. We are the only country that still cannot. I mean, the fact that a male can be exposed on camera, shirt off, and a female can't, and it's the same thing. You got the nipples and a breast.
True.
I mean, I've got 2 male breasts, and it's the same. So why is it that it's this? I think it's what you're saying. It's like women have become so overly sexualized, and it is. I mean, unfortunately, it's because of the men in this industry and what media has created. I mean, that's my thing, thinking back about, that's why I got excited about the Playboy news with Cardi B, because I was like, this is a chance for Playboy to become relevant again, because there were so many great things about it. And, growing up, you remember you were like, you'd hear at school and people like, oh, I found, your dad or your grandfather's like stash from the military of magazines. And
of course.
Nowadays, it's like, oh, this girl from OnlyFans lives in my building.
Yeah.
It's
like,
so
I'm working out the
so
treadmill,
true.
and there she is filming, and I'm like, it doesn't hit the same,
If we're talking about body positivity though now, I mean, you guys know with Rihanna and her Savage lingerie line, like, she includes all different body types in those fashion shows. Do you think Centerfold should do that? Should they be all inclusive in, like, bodies, and should men be in these? I'm curious to see what you guys think about the new age of sexuality.
Oh, I think anything goes.
Should
anything
I think so
and
too.
everything.
And everyone should be included.
Yeah.
Well, and OnlyFans was really, really popular for the men, I think. The men on there were more of a draw than the women.
Okay.
I believe.
Right.
So that is also an area of the market that maybe is lacking.
Totally.
Good. Very interesting. Lots of interesting stuff. I feel like, 2021, you guys, is almost over. We're getting to the last, parts of it. And I think 2022 is going to bring a lot of interesting things. So much is dropping hot and fast. Wouldn't you guys agree? I mean,
so
literally.
hot, so fast.
Pop culture, body positivity, all these great things that I'm looking forward to in the new year. Both of you guys.
Absolutely. It is a new day, and we're here for it.
It is.
Straight up.
Well, make sure you guys check us out. Of course, you'll find this episode on our YouTube channel for Erupt, the T. Also, I know, Ashley, you're a big writer on Erupt.news.
Yeah, definitely check out our articles there, Erupt.news. We cover a plethora of information from like sexuality to politics to culture to the metaverse. Like, definitely check that out. There's a lot of really good reads.
And we're excited, too, because right before the year ends, we have got our favorite things episode coming out for Christmas. All of our favorite celebrity brands. And then, of course, our New Year's Eve countdown show. Now, that one, I'm pumped for you guys.
It's gonna be hot.
It's going to be so fun.
Of course, counting down all the top pop culture, celebrity news, and entertainment of 2021. And you guys, there's so much to unpack. Are you ready for it?
We are so ready.
A lot went down.
A lot went down.
A lot did go down. All right, until next time here at Erupt and on the T, I'm Blake Woodruff, Ashley Dior Jones, and Miss Brie Thiele. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.